Evening, everyone. Welcome to another late night live, and as you can see, we've got the usual two here who were on last week. I managed to bunk off last week, which was I don't know if anyone noticed, and we also have Richard Nightslife in. How you doing, Richard?
Oh, good, thank you. You?
Yeah, I'm not bad. You're there in the tat shed with your new K.
Yeah, with my big £2.50 vintage welded K. It's got just
Looking,
us. I thought it said just do it, like for Nike, but it says
yeah.
just us, and then it's got like an R in a circle. It was literally £2.50 at one of the charity shops. So I
Did you
thought it's
find
like,
out what it was from in the end, or?
no clue, no clue. I say it's on there. It's got spray. It says just us. I don't know whether just us is another bit of Nike. It's just do it. I don't know, but it looks a bit Nike. The way the letters are on it and that. But I say it's £2.50. I thought, well, that'd do for Night's Life. So just another bit of background.
Well, it
Two,
certainly goes well with all. It beats my background of cruddy old folders. You have such a good setup there. It's fantastic.
well, the thing is, I should just sell it already.
How's your week been? You had a good week, sort of like selling wise, sourcing
Yeah,
wise.
not really selling. Well, not really selling wise. I had a nice sale yesterday for 110 quid from a £2 shirt, but that went downhill fast. I got it out this morning to check it to send it off, and I'm sure it wasn't there before because I checked the photos. I couldn't see it in the photos, and there's now a tear in the back of the sleeve there. So where I would have been 55 times in my money, I refunded the guy, but he still wants to buy it, but he's offering me 25 quid, and it still only cost me £2. So although I'm gutted, I've had to refund him 100 and nearly 120 with shipping. I don't know whether to do it. So I spoke to the luxury pickers and asked them what they would do, and they said, look, if it's perfect, it's a couple of £100 the t-shirt, which is what I started at, but obviously the beast of eBay, you have to keep dropping it until someone bites. And so they said, but even with that mark, because it's like double RL, it's Ralph Lauren, but it's called a double RL. It's a really nice brand. It's Ralph Lauren, but it's a separate brand. It's more country western style. And
All right.
apparently they make them so they're supposed to look rough and duffed up. So
Oh,
they said actually the rip in there is probably nothing to worry about because they're supposed to look beat up like a cowboy.
yeah.
So they reckon that even with the tear in the sleeve, I can still get 80 quid for it.
So have you got it back, or are you
I
refund?
didn't send it. I went to send it and I
Yeah,
noticed the tear. So I messaged the guy, sent him photos,
yeah.
refunded it. And so I spoke to Austin, I think it was, that answered me. And yeah, he said still 80 quid all day long.
Oh, well, that's good. I mean, even though it's a drop, it's still amazing.
It wasn't a bad one at the end. Well, I've still got it. So until it sells, I'm still
Yeah.
stuck.
How's your week been, Derek? You had a good week this week? You're on mute, by the way.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah,
you can sign it if you want. It could be a new kind of niche. We're like signing for the deaf or something.
yeah. So yeah, I had quite a good week, and I've had sales from my listing challenge come through, so that's good.
I saw you were all doing a challenge. I had family down last week, which is why I couldn't make it, and then I've been away for a few days. But the first thing I did when I got back was I was like, oh, I wonder who they had on Thursday Night Live. So I got back on Tuesday, and I was gutted. You had Mel on. I was like, oh my god, because I've always watched Mel, and it was such a good chat last week.
Well, she said, Pete, give me a week when Pete's not there and I'll join you. That's what she said. So it worked out just fine.
Oh, well, never mind. But it was absolutely a brilliant one. And I went down the rabbit hole of looking at some of Mel's videos. And one she put out this week was all about motivation and staying motivated and what helps with that, how you sort of keep going and whether that's making sure you stick to certain processes, or just geeing yourself up to keep doing like eBay, because sometimes it is difficult. Like I say, I've been away for a few days. I had a break from it. Before I went away, I actually had taken everything off my store just to give myself a fire break of looking at stuff and getting some listings in the bag. And I was watching Z, and he was trying to build up a listings bank, and I thought, yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I can't seem to be doing it whilst I'm trying to do the day-to-day, so I sort of stopped doing the day-to-day. So it was really good sort of video to watch that. How's your week been, Nick? You had a good week? I saw you did a video on clearing all your shelves.
Yeah, it's been a very good week. Similar to Derek, because we were both pushing lots of stuff onto eBay. I had a cracking week of sales, a bumper weekend of sales. So Monday, Tuesday was just packing the hell out of piles and piles of gear, which was fantastic. Yeah, so it's been a good week that way.
Yeah.
Since last week, listing has gone down the pan because I'm having
you kind of get sick of it when you do those challenges. I remember I did a challenge with you, and I forget how many I did, maybe 30. It wasn't as many as the Payne brothers, but I did about 30 a day. And by the end of the week, I was like, oh God, I would need a few days off listing.
Yeah, but you can kind of coast on that level of input, can't you, for a week after a month? You can kind of sit back and bask in the sales.
Oh, definitely. I did a video ages ago, must have been a few years ago, where it was interesting. I noticed you were keeping track of the things that sold that you'd listed in that week. And this video I did, it was like I looked at my last, I think it was 100 sales or something like that, or my listings over a period of time. And 80% of the stuff I sold had been listed sort of within the last month. So it's amazing how much of the new stuff kind of goes. And you always get a sense of that when you're on eBay.
Yeah, that's why sales dry up if you're not listing, because fresh stuff sells quick.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Right, I am going to quickly whip through the chat and say hello. James was in first. Mel mentioned James last week, and of course, James got that massive bundle of books, and he's the man who sells books in the UK and makes a real good go of it. So good to see you, James. I always have trouble saying this one. Marylinus. Is that right? Margaret, good to see you. Tony Steve. How is everyone doing? Well, we're a little bit hot tonight. It's gone hot again.
It
is. Chris is in. Chop Chop. Good to see you. Em's in her den. Oh, we're Jack Dobbin's favourite YouTubers. That's always good to hear, that sort of thing. I bet he says that on all the channels. Jane, good to see you. Johnny 40 Coats is in. There's loads of people in. How many got? I've got 91 in. God, I'm never going to get through them. Bad Wolf. Evening Secret Carper. Let's go. Daisy's in. She's in every week. Good to see you, Daisy. Ian, Jane. Hello, Cinema Music. I don't know Cinema Music's name, actually.
It's
Chris. Oh, right. I'll have to remember that. It's always in my Monday mornings.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is. Any ideas, Nick? No.
Looks familiar, but I couldn't tell you.
Aaron, good to see you. Richard's in. He was doing some music, actually, with one of my friends up at the Commonwealth Games up in Birmingham.
Oh, wow.
Some musical things. So that was interesting to hear. Rich is in. Lainey, good to see you, Lainey. JJ, do you mind me asking how many orders you consider a big weekend of sales? Oh, that's a good question. What do you reckon, Derek? To sort of like, what's a good day or a good? What are you happy with, or does it depend on the value?
Yeah, I guess it does depend on the value, really.
You get 200 in the morning, and you're like, yes.
Yeah, it's that sort of £100. Once I've got over £100 in a day, I'm happy. It's not really enough though. I like to go past that, but for some reason, the £100, I'm reasonably happy with that.
You wouldn't want too many days sort of below that, because I've been there.
Yeah, I mean, if it does go below it really hurts your totals at the end of the month.
Yeah, it's always a sort of trigger to me. If I've had like 3 or 4 30-40 pounds in a row or a no sales day, it's like, come on, you know what to do. You know, just get on and list. Get on, and if you haven't got the stock, get on and review.
But I like to sell probably about at least 5 or 6 things a day, maybe.
Yeah,
because I always try to list 10 items a day.
yeah,
So if I'm not selling that many things, I'm running out of storage space in my listed areas now. So
yeah.
I want stuff going as well as listed.
I mean, it's a really difficult question to answer because a lot of sellers are different. So, you know, if you spoke to someone like Tom who does a lot of media, he would need a lot more sales. But I think I'm probably about the same as you, Derek, because I'm sort of generalist and sell a similar sort of thing. It is that 5 or 6, because my orders can be maybe £20, but they might be £120, they might be £220.
Yeah. Well, it's all relative to what you do normally, what you would consider a great day. You know, a part-timer might be really happy with 5 sales.
Yeah.
You know, I think I shipped out 36, 37 in the end on Monday, which for me was a really good day.
Yeah.
But that did include the weekend, obviously. But it also included some high value stuff. So the numbers were good as well on top of that. So yeah, it's a bit of both. Numbers of stuff, but value is king, really.
Yeah, value is key. What about you, Richard? What do you sort of regard as a kind of like, oh, I'm happy with that? And
at the moment, anything.
One will do.
It obviously, where I've been doing the driving, because obviously with everything else that's gone on, I've had to sort of, because my brain hasn't been in the eBay gear as it was when I started the first sort of year or two. I found it hard to get going again, sort of the past 12 months, which if you want, I'll go into in a bit. But it's just trying to get back into it. So to try and catch myself up, I bumped into someone at my old company, and I said, if you've got any of the long distance fridge van work, I'll do it because it's good money. And you jump in a van, you drive to wherever. I've been to Derby twice last week. I've been to York. You know, I've been up to Scotland before, so you just jump in a van and go. So for me, it's an easy way to make money and try and catch myself up, as well as like eBay's been running itself really. I've had the odd days listing, but not consistent like I was, where I was getting really good sales day in and day out.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you're fitting it around what you're doing with the rest of your life, and so many people do that. And what I sort of have realised is, even if your sales do dip, that not to worry about it too much, but to just learn to do something about it, because you're never going to sort of like go into a weekend and go, this is definitely going to be like, definitely going to get like 40, 50 sales this weekend. Yeah. There is no reliability with it. But it's just if things do sort of like dip, what you do to sort it out.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what I've been doing. Where I've been doing the driving, I've been getting quite a bit of driving last week. You know, sort of some weeks bringing in 500 quid. So for me, that sort of helps me catch up. And then, to be honest with you, I've been listing some new bits and they have been getting bites and been going. But I've been finding that where I haven't been listed properly, I have got quite a few old bits that are going now, which is quite a few of my old bits that have been on there for a while ago. But I've been doing the work, the driving, trying to keep up with a bit of eBay, but to be honest, very, very minute, and just car booting at the weekend, selling.
Yeah.
Not even
that's the whole idea.
I don't even leave the table, because if I leave the table, I'm taking home more than I come with. So I stay there, and me and my daughter sort of maybe make 100 or a couple of hundred or quid or whatever, and it's just another way of filling in the time and trying to keep.
That is the beauty of eBay, because it's the flexibility. I mean, I think that's a reason why a lot of people do it, and it's one of the reasons I do it is that you do have other priorities and other commitments. So you do have that flexibility that if you want to take a step back for a little time because you've got other stuff to sort out, you can easily do that. But obviously, if it is a full-time sort of income, you do always have to eventually sort of get back into it and know how to get back into it.
Yeah,
Richard, who obviously did Richard win the challenge? Because I haven't actually looked at the results.
No, we kind of claimed it as Derek's win, really, overall, but we were tracking like 3 or 4 different metrics. So we kind of spread the wins out. But Derek was the overall winner, I think.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, I think I win the value. Richard won the amount listed, I think.
Yeah, and I got the number of new items sold.
Tom won something as well, I think.
Did Tom have the most number of listings?
It wouldn't surprise me with all of the
Remember, he
media.
was doing media, so that was...
I think
chucking them in at 99p.
I think he might have listed the amount of stuff during the week, like the highest value stuff, I think.
Here we go. Richard's mentioned the Commonwealth Games. So I think he was... he's never rapped on a stage, so he was rapping it on a stage, and that's my mate, Mr. B, the Gentleman Rhymer. That must have been an experience doing the Commonwealth Games. Have you ever had to decrease the quality of your listings to improve your listing speed? To be honest, I don't spend a lot of time finessing listings. I make sure that the title is, and I think this is something you get through experience, kind of like the efficiency of listing. So the title I make sure I fill out, and for certain items like clothing or shoes, I have a set way of doing it. I try and make sure I do 12 photos 99% of the time, and I try and hit the right price. And normally when I do, and I pretty much always do a sell similar, but make sure everything is correct for my listing. So that has remained pretty consistent with how I've done it. Past sort of 5 years, I would say. I mean, do you spend a lot of time worrying about how you're listing, Nick, at all? And
no, in fact, these days I cut most of the waffle out. I copy my title and my little condition box into my main description.
That's exactly what I do.
And for a lot of things, that's enough. Unless it's vinyl, and then I do go into a bit more detail, perhaps. Or if it's a job lot, I will list individual things. But in the main, I find as long as you've got the important information there up front and some really good pictures, the pictures are the key, really, I think.
Yeah, especially a lot of people are looking on phones as well. You can't even, when you look on a phone, that condition description that you think might be so important because it's where you used to put all your text in the old days, or your links, or your little graphical frame. No one ever sees that anymore, really.
Best avoid all that stuff now, I think.
Yeah, my wording is generally really, really short. Sorry, Derek, but I will use loads of pictures and quite often use all 12, even if it's a fairly basic object, because you don't know what the buyer is looking for, where their interest lies. So snap all around it and use up those 12. But yeah, sorry, Derek.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I basically just list stuff like good condition, and then the next line, fully tested working.
I think there's a minimum standard with like photos, isn't there? That it won't be just shoved on the floor or on the back of a door sort of thing. It will be a good photo, but it won't be like a professional, the best professional shot you can get. Good enough is good enough sometimes, isn't it?
So, yeah, I think so.
Right. Part-timer would expect to have 5 to 10 sales on a Monday. Yeah, this will vary with everyone. JJ, if he has less than 100 over the weekend, you consider it a failed weekend. But of course, it all depends on what kind of thing he's selling. I mean, I sold a few vintage computers before I went away, and they went for about 200 quid each. So I'm not going to be selling 100 of those. So it'd be great if I did, but. There we go. What do you sell? The old question: what do you sell? Where do you get it? And how much does it cost?
I think it's just because there's like a roller coaster, isn't there? So yeah, you might have today I think I've made £13.
Yeah.
And I've got a return request for 20 come in. So basically I've made I made a loss today in theory, but yesterday I think I was over 300, and I did great the days before that. So and tomorrow will probably be back to normal. So I don't worry about it too much.
It's getting used to that ups and down, and when I kind of like cut my listings, I had set what I did was I set all the quantity to 0 because I thought, okay, I just want that break to have a look through each listing and see what it's looking like. And then I was going away, and I kind of thought I'd be able to do a mass update while I was away and change the quantity back to 1. But unfortunately, it didn't happen. So my actual stuff was 0 quantity for about a week, and only got changed when I got back. But in a weird way, it was quite nice to do that. My sales chart is, like I say, it's around about sort of 100, 200 mark, and then I've got about 6 days nothing, which is quite a weird. Have you ever sort of like switched off your store and taken a break from sort of things, Richard? I imagine you have. Have you done that, or did you just cut your quantity right down?
On a break, to be honest with you. Tell you what year it was. It was the year when Robin Williams died.
Yeah.
We were on holiday in Cornwall, and I took everything that had bids on it. I packed up in a box and took on holiday with me. And my wife went absolutely bonkers. She wasn't my wife back then, but I don't think she would be now if she was. But I packed everything up I had a bid in a box that was finishing it while we was away, and literally parceled it up and posted it. I found a little post office in Loo Harbour, and just got rid of it all while I was down there.
That sounds bonkers.
That sounds but then,
Derek, you've never been tempted to take your entire tap pile just in case anything sells? Take it all on holiday. Just get a couple of lorries and.
I haven't. I've always used long dispatch times, but I'm going away for 2 weeks in October, so I might use time away and then basically put the whole store invisible for that first week, and then the second week I might put it back on, and then have it so I'm still on time away, but have the dispatch like a week, and then gradually reduce it. I don't want to be overwhelmed when I get back though, loads to pack.
I've done that in previous years, gone up to the 10-day dispatch, because I only ever sort of go away for a few days or a week. I don't go away for long periods of time. And it's when you sort of, on the first day, you get a load of sales. And because I always message the people and say, oh, I'm away at the moment, and it's a long dispatch time, but you will get it. And they're normally fine with that. So.
Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing, Pete. We've used that. We extend the dispatch time and have that message saying we're away, and then I'll try and remember on my phone to just fire an email and say, you are aware. Did you notice we're away until the so and so I can't dispatch until then? Just to keep them in the loop. There's nothing worse than a buyer not realizing and then getting all funny and chasing you from where's my item, when you're still in Mallorca or something.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to know if eBay would have you back in that situation, because in theory they would, but we all know what eBay can be like. So would they actually have you back?
You definitely don't want problems while you're away, though, because you're so far away from it. I mean, I'd sent what did I send? A PS3 Slim out just before I went away, and I'd forgotten to pack the controller. And I got a message, and the woman was absolutely fine about it. It's just like there's no controller in there. And I'm like, oh, God, yeah, she's right. It's one of those. She's right. I'm wrong. I've just got to make sure she's happy. So, as soon as I got back, it just got packaged up and sent off. So
I had a return request today, and I sold a JVC alarm clock. It was £25, I think. And they opened a return and basically accused me. I sent the wrong item. I sent them a different item by mistake. It was a pure radio alarm clock instead, completely by accident. But they accused me of doing it on purpose and trying to fob them off with this. They called it a subgrade radio, even though I think the pure one is actually a better radio in the first place. Anyway, so because they accused me of that, plus they say it doesn't work, I would have just sent them the correct one and just put it down as a bad a bad thing. But because they've said that this one doesn't work, which it would work, so I test all my stuff, and they're basically accusing me of doing it on purpose, then I'm just going to have to get it back now, and just refund them rather than sending them the correct thing, because they sound like a triple customer now. If they were just more polite about it and they said, "Oh, yeah, you look like you sent me the wrong thing. Was it an accident or whatever?"
Well, mistakes do happen, don't they? So what can you do? Just get it sorted and move on.
Yeah.
No, I was interested watching last week. So Mel talking about after talking about books a lot, she touched on sort of being able to do what she does. It did seem very amazing, the amount of books she had behind her, quite overwhelming. I'm thinking of taking a big haul of vinyl, and I'm just a little bit hesitant on doing it because you kind of think, oh, one record isn't too much, but I know, I've got boxes of my records. If you don't process that stuff, it can very easily overwhelm you. And I'm just thinking, I don't know a lot about. I thought of talking to John, from Reseller, because am I going to get a load of boxes of records that are, crap basically, and not worth anything? But I think I'm going to take a risk on it. So it was interesting to talk to Mel. I know she's very big on. She likes the daily refinement and the group he does, and he's very much about process. And when I started my channel, I was very, very sort of process focused. I do five listings in the morning, try and do a set number every day. Richard, do you find that sort of like trying to stick to a process really helps you out or motivates you, or is it other resellers? I know James, who you do Saturday Night Live with,
he just messaged me.
He cracks the whip, doesn't he?
Days, but he is cracking the whip, and he said, I'm not even gonna moan at you now or act surprised if you say you haven't done anything today, or I'm not even gonna say nothing about it. He said, at the end of the day, you're the only one that can make yourself do it. He said, I can just phone you up and bug you about it. It used to be that I would just come into the shed. I would just start listing away till I'd had enough of listing, really. And I say, that was when things were really good for me, and I was putting out sort of a lot of content on YouTube, reselling 45-minute videos, mostly. I had loads because I was doing loads. I had loads to share with people, but obviously now at the moment I really don't. But I've given away, I reckon, nearly a half of my stock. If I haven't sold it at car boot, I've taken it straight to the charity shop. I took 5 bags of golf clubs with me this weekend, just gone. And I sold 1 bag for a tenner. I'd sold a few individual clubs, so I've probably made a £5 on the lot. But I've hung about so long, they take up a lot of room, so I took them straight to a charity shop and got rid of them. I feel better clearing a lot of the stuff that day because I felt like I was living in Steptoe's yard. I couldn't.
Yeah, well, it's definitely a good idea to do that. I was really focusing, or have been the last few months, on looking at the older stuff and making sure it's out and gone, and making sure that really it is a case of getting stuff in, processing it, and getting it sold straight away, because that is the key. I think if your story's like that, eBay, it's a lot more better for the metrics to see it coming in and going out quickly.
Yeah.
Do you think
if you've got stacks of stuff and you're looking at it and you don't, because my problem is I look at it and I think I don't know where to start with it. I don't know what to start first, so I don't. So then I just don't, and nothing gets done. And then obviously with things that have gone on, it starts playing on my mind. Now I've got it clear. It's like a big weight's been lifted off my shoulder because I can start seeing stuff again. I can start seeing where I am. I've got it pretty much tidying in now. I've got all my package materials there. It's where it's nice. if I'm listing, I'll take stuff out in the garden and list it against the fence, or so it looks nice and outside. I'll start taking and listing outside, and I'm sort of getting there now. So I'm doing the driving, doing the car boats, but now it's in my mind that I need to get back to where I was before doing the eBay, because that's my business. Although I got a phone call on Wednesday where I've been going back to my old transport firm. Oh, are you looking for a full-time job? I said, no, I'm not. I said, why? Who's leaving? They went, oh, one of the forklift drivers. I said, I can't come back and forklift drive. I just can't do it, because I get anxiety and panic attacks just thinking about, because some of the pallets are so dodgy. As soon as you lift them, they go over, and like I just can't do it. And actually, when I was there on Friday, going to pick the keys up for the van to go to Derby, the forklift behind me, I just heard this big crash. He was loading a lorry, and I just heard this big crash, and a massive pallet, so it had just gone over and hit the floor. So like, it's definitely a sign that I'm not to go back. I want to concentrate on my eBay business. I don't think I could see while I'm doing casual work, I can say yes or no, and I like that. I'm still my own boss.
Yeah.
And I can do what I've got to do. If I don't think I could go back and work for someone else again. I just don't think I could do it.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's definitely good that you have that sort of choice, though, isn't it? I mean, that's the important thing. I mean, and like having someone like James, and I always find it's very useful to have other people to sort of kind of make you realise what you need to do, what level they are. I've got some local resellers. There's a guy called Luke I know, and a guy called Lee I know from around here, and they have some really good turnover numbers, but it's because they list a lot. And I mean, I guess you see it when you guys do your listing challenges. It's funny because I do like to sort of try and stick to a minimum, and I guess everybody tries to do that. And I guess you especially, Nick, are a little bit more free and easy in like, oh no, I'm not 10 a day, and it's just kind of like, and you've always said that, haven't you?
Well, I think I actively push against imposing rigidity on myself. I do this as much for the lifestyle and enjoying what I'm doing and doing it at my pace and whatever as anything else. But I do have to actually get stuff listed and sold at the same time. So
there's a minimum you're going to do. The sales aren't going to come to you, and the stock isn't going to be found if you're not going out and doing that.
So I kind of kid myself that I'm coasting along doing nothing, but I do work. I still do put the hours in. I just do it at my pace whenever, and it's very up and down for me. But things like the listing challenge are perfect for me, because I love a competition. I love doing things with friends and motivating each other. That it's perfect. But I mean, I made some notes when you said about this topic. I actually tried to think what fundamentally is my motivation, and I think it's very, very simple. If you're full time, it is reminding yourself why you're doing this. And it's, for me, it's the lifestyle and not having a boss.
Totally.
That's my fundamental motivation. Is I have to list, I have to make the numbers to make this work. Otherwise, I'm off getting a job. So that's my motivation.
Well, it was funny when I was away. I was kind of away and I was loving my holiday, but I couldn't get away back wait to get back home. And I also couldn't wait to get back and just get on my eBay. And Liz said, well, that's a good sign, really, because if you're actually looking forward to coming home, and if you're looking forward to sort of getting back on it in terms of work, it must mean that even though you had a break from it, you enjoy doing what you do. Now, I remember sort of going on holiday and coming back and having to go back to an office job, and it would be like, oh, my Christ, I've got to go back to that place. And that's the difference.
So that's why I'm saying, reminding yourself of the why. The big why am I doing this, and how good we have it. It should be motivation enough to kick yourself up the butt and say, okay, I do actually need to put some work in to maintain this lifestyle that I actually want to keep.
Yeah.
So for me, that's it really. That is the motivation.
I think some people find that kind of like, oh, I'm going to be a bit more rigid, because I think I definitely would need that more, because if I didn't have that, I would definitely be a lot more boom and bust. It would be like it'll go on, and then I could take like 4 or 5 days without doing anything. So I have to. I've just got that different sort of wiring in my brain that it's got to be like, okay, get up. I'm going to do 5. You know,
I mean,
it's going to be first thing in the morning.
the amount of freedom that being like a full-time reseller gives you is amazing.
Incredible.
I mean, if you think about it, like just booking holidays on a regular job, how many holidays do you get a year? You've got to put in the holidays, then they've got to be approved, you know, and you've got to book them in advance, you know, and all this sort of stuff. Whereas full-time reselling, you know, tomorrow I could think, oh, it's a nice day, I'll go to the beach, you know, you could just go, can't you? You know.
Definitely.
Yeah, but in order to be able to fully use that freedom and drop everything, and we might go away for a city break or go up the coast to an Airbnb, you have to have put the work in and had the numbers coming in. You see what I mean? It kind of, you have to have one to enable yourself to drop everything and enjoy that freedom. So you have to put the work in to enjoy the freedom side of it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, you're chasing the tail all the time.
You have to bank a little bit so you can do it, because you don't get paid holidays, do you? So if you're working yourself, so you either have to stash a bit of money away for your holidays, or you just have to prepare yourself for those times when you're going to be away. It's but it's worth doing, because, like I say, I've just been offered a full-time job back, and I say I can't go back to full-time work.
Has it ever crossed your mind, sort of Derek or Nick, to sort of think, I need to do a full-time job? It crossed my mind very briefly, but
I get offered jobs quite a bit. I get a lot of people messaging me, and I just have to basically go no, and not think about it, not look into it, because the jobs are quite good, and I know that I don't want to do that, and I like this sort of lifestyle and stuff.
Do you ever have moments of doubt with eBay though, or are you comfortable that you will always make the sales and the profit you will need?
It's just never let me down. I mean, I have rubbish days like everybody, but overall I do okay. I've never not been able to pay the bills or anything like that.
Yeah,
I've always been quite comfortable. So
I suppose after a few years of doing it, it's
I genuinely never have the thought I'm going to take a job. I just it doesn't enter my head anymore, and I built up this weird confidence in my ability to make ends meet, whatever I'm doing.
Yeah,
because I've ridden out so many storms and failed businesses and this, that, and the other, that I know when push comes to shove, I will make it work. I've got.
You're very confident in that. You know, that comes across
years of ups and downs, and we've made everything work out in the end every time. So you get that weird sense of, perhaps it's naive, but you get this sense of I can make this work. I mean, we're now shaking everything up and kind of restarting again.
Yeah,
and whilst it's a slightly bit intimidating because we don't know what we're doing with getting into the holiday let business, but that's why we're doing it, because we don't know what we're doing.
Do you have that sort of thing of what's the worst that can happen? Even if it goes completely wrong, we still know how to sort of do this.
We'll dig ourselves out of a hole. We've done it before, and we'll do it again. And that's part of the fun, isn't it? Surely the risk element.
Who knows what tomorrow's going to bring? I mean, do you ever have sort of problems with motivation, Nick, in the terms of? I mean, you've been doing eBay for like 15 years or more than 15 years, and you ever think, I'm just doing the same thing and doing it again and again, or is it that the stock's constantly changing and the situations are constantly changing that keeps your interest going?
The one thing that I struggle with is feeling like Groundhog Day and feeling like, where are the weeks going? Because last week was the same as this week, and next week's going to be the same as this one, which is why periodically throughout our 20 years of being totally self-employed, we just mix it all up periodically, and that's why the next change is coming, because I've felt in a rut. We've been doing perfectly well out of it, but I felt in a mental rut for quite a while now. So it's now, let's throw everything out the window and start again and see what happens.
So what helps you with that when you kind of like maybe feel like you're having a bit of a Groundhog Day, or I mean, does it help? obviously you can talk to Andrew about it, but does it help that now that like there are other resellers? I mean, 10 years ago you were very much on your own. It was just you and Andrew sort of doing the thing, and maybe but the fact that there like is a community, and if you've had a crap return or something, you can sort of like go, oh my god, this has happened, and someone will always come back with something. Does that help you?
I think it must do, because I talk to a lot of people about reselling now.
Yeah,
it's a need that I think we have to scratch, to talk to other people about this weird and wonderful world. But it comes back to what I said before, reminding yourself of the why. I have to, if I get really fed up with it, I remind myself why I chose this, because it's a choice, the reasons why, and then I'm like, oh yeah, okay, much better than the other options.
definitely. What about you, Richard? I mean, have you found? I mean, what do you think it would have been like if you hadn't had sort of like James as your sort of like partner in crime? Would you have been in a better position, or would you? I mean, anyone who doesn't know James, he's incredible, because I had a couple of video calls with him, and he's full on, isn't he?
He's absolutely bonkers.
It's JR reselling, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like 100% all of the time. He's got ADHD, and he says it on the lives. He doesn't hold anything back, and he's just like a clock, fully wound up, like something with Duracell batteries in it. He just doesn't stop. He's mad.
He's made the quite strange decision, and I think a very brave and admirable decision. He'd just gone over 1,000 subs on YouTube.
No, he hadn't got 1,000. He was.
Had he not? He was
about 650, but he was getting up there.
He's getting up there,
and he's decided not to do social media.
And he's put the whole thing on hold, and he's just completely focused on eBay.
And he's fine tuning. He's always trying to save time. When I'm going up there to see him, I'm building him a special photography area, because I've been in and out of the building game all my life. So I'm going to build him a specialised photography desk and just try and refine it a little bit more. But he's got something like a 6-bedroom place up there, and he's got a big room upstairs where he does all the clothing with a full-size photography area and mannequin. He's got a downstairs area with another photography area for the smaller stuff. He's just solely concentrating on his business, and he's
really committed though to it. He's gone at it 100%, isn't he?
100%. And I say, I haven't spoken to him for a day or two, but he knows that I was driving, and but he's listing 10 a day and he's selling 8 a day. So because he doesn't want to go and buy loads and loads and loads of stock, so he goes out each day and he'll buy 10, maybe 20 items, and he'll list 10 a day, and he's selling 8 a day in and day out. He's killing it.
Yeah, that's what you need to do.
His sell-through rate is amazing. He's totally all about the business. He's not thinking about anything else. He's not worried about it. It's the same as Nick said. The thing that's stopping him straying or taking a day off is the fact that he doesn't want to go back sitting in an office at any. He wants to keep doing what he's doing. He gets more time with his child. He gets more time with his wife, and it's the lifestyle. They're having weekend breaks. Something I can't do, and I haven't been able to do for quite a while. But then, when I lost my brother just over a year ago, it just all crashed down for me.
I mean, things like that do happen, and on any scale, things, even if you've got like a routine of how you're doing it, something can come along in life and totally like knock you off the rails. And that's why I think it's so important when you're feeling like lost with like your eBay, or you don't want to do it, you haven't got motivation, or you don't quite know why things aren't selling. Could be anything. Is to be able to talk to people and maybe have a sense of my sense is like if things start going wrong is just get up in the morning and like do 5 things. Like if you can't face 5, do 3. If you can't face 3, do 1, and just do 1 and then go from there.
You're right. That's actually really, really good advice. We all have it's waves of motivation, isn't it? And energy.
Yeah.
Right. I love it completely. And what I was saying before, I wasn't mean to come across that I don't love what I do. I do love what I do, but in all honesty, it's up and down with
up and down all the time,
motivation and the energy. But you're right. I find when I'm in the doldrums with this, clear my head and just list one item.
Yeah.
Once I'm in the process, once I'm in that groove, I'm then enjoying it again. And it's a weird mental state to get out of sometimes. Motivation, sometimes as simple as that. And the other thing you said that's spot on is have a chat with someone, message a friend and say, I'm having a shit day.
Yeah.
Sales are crap, whatever it is. And they'll come back to you and understand. And instantly you can objectify it. You're out of your own head and you're talking to someone, and it helps. It really, really helps.
And it's so weird, things can on different days can just like trigger you in different ways. So if you see someone's turnover post on Facebook and they've done 15, 20 grand in 90 days, you might look at that one day and go, wow, yeah, I'm on that. I want to be there. Or you may look at it in a week and go, oh, for God's sake, I don't want to see that. So it all depends on where you are and how you're feeling. I'm at the moment, this is a weird thing. I am not listing anything live, but I'm actually going through a whole load of listing stuff. I've been doing it since I've been back, but I'm scheduling it for like next week. So I'm setting up bunches of 10 days. And for some reason, I'm finding it easier to list in advance than feeling like I'm kind of running on the spot, trying to spin plates, doing it for today.
Yeah,
and it's exactly the same. It's so strange.
Yeah,
but that's just sort of like process or whatever. So
yeah, that's what James said to me. He said, "Look, I'm not going to keep on at you about 5 a day." He said, "If you just get up and do 1 a day, And there's been, I wouldn't like to say how many days. I mean, obviously, the first 15 months I was going up there, I was spending sort of 4 days, 5 days with my brother, and then 2 or 3 days at home if I was lucky, taking him to his treatments, etc., etc. So obviously, I was still buying then, but I didn't have time to list. So that was that. And then, like the year since he's been gone, there's a lot of time I struggle to even get out of bed, and the mental health is just like absolutely at an all-time low, and I can't even get up out of bed, let alone list a single thing.
Well, it's a slow journey. It's definitely a slow journey, isn't it? But like you say, any journey begins with steps, and if you can just do that one, and if you've got people who can help you, and suggestions that can be made, and definitely some days you won't want to do it, and other days you do.
It all relies on where your mental health is at, all of it, let alone if you've got major things that are going on in your life.
Yeah,
and motivation is key in that, because that's the first thing to go. Your drive, right? If your mental health isn't right, not thinking, I'll get 20 listings done today. So that is key. And exactly that. So finding ways to deal with that isn't easy, but it's key, isn't it?
And another good thing is this driving thing. It gets me up. Like, I have to get up. If I've got a job and it starts at 3 a.m, I've got to be up. And you know what? I've been finding that 3 o'clock in the morning to 6 o'clock in the morning is the best time in the world. It's so quiet.
I think that, but then at about 2 in the afternoon, I kind of regret it.
I don't know about walking about around a car boot sale with a head torch on when it's dark, but like getting in that van and being out and being awake and driving and working while that sun's coming up and it's getting lighter, it's an amazing feeling, and it does help your mental health, and it makes you appreciate life. I appreciate life a lot more because I lost my younger brother, but seeing things like that and having that to get up, that's making me get up now. So once I'm back on the eBay, I won't need that anymore. I'll be getting up. I wake up all the time before the alarm myself now anyway.
Yeah.
So it is. I'm so much closer now than what I was, say, 3 or 4 months ago. I'm so much better, and even doing the lives, I would talk to James before I start Saturday Night Live, and I'd go, James, I'm really I'm feeling really down, and
And he's managed to turn you around, hasn't
well,
he?
it's not even that. It's what, as soon as I hit that live, it's not even like I'm putting on a fake front, or it's not false. As soon as I hit that live, it's about everybody else.
Yeah,
it's about
the ride has started, and you're just going along with it.
And it's about, there's going to be people that are watching the chats, that are in the community, that haven't got anyone, that can't talk to anyone, and that their only highlight of the week may be my live. It may be someone's listing, like Chris is listing in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You know, I'd literally switch on, and it's not about me anymore. It's about everybody that's watching, you know, and people that might need, you know, a bit of cheering up. So for me, that's been therapy in a big way for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Tony, Steve really sums it up. He says sometimes it is about taking small steps, and he's definitely right. You know, if you can just get up, and you know, sometimes you do get bogged down. This was mentioned last week. You can get bogged down with things that need a lot of research, or if you've got like a broken item, and sometimes you're better off just looking at more difficult stuff, getting it done, or maybe start off with an easy one just to get the ball rolling. But you know, just getting it done, eating the frog sometimes, doing the difficult stuff.
I sometimes see it mentally as taking a run up, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to start by doing something that I vaguely enjoy. I'm going to sort through that pile of records and pull out some one I'm interested in or whatever. And then while you're doing it, you switch into work mode. And then once you've done that, you've taken your run up, and now I'm running. You know what I mean? And I'm into it. It's sometimes about tricking yourself in getting into work by finding a job that you're going to enjoy.
Well, another one I do is sort of last thing at night or in the evening, like maybe after I've had my dinner. I kind of have sort of. I know you list quite late, don't you, Nick? But I don't tend to do that, you know, because kids are going to bed and you have to sort all that out. But I will grab maybe 3 or 4 things that I go, right, they're going to be my things for tomorrow. So I can wake up in the morning and go, oh, okay, you know, there's that, you know, GameCube game, and just they're there ready to go. It's not like, oh, what am I going to list? What am I going to do? And it just seems to trick me into getting going. You know,
well, I found a good trick as well. I don't know if any of you use this, but you get an item out, and it always feels like, oh, I've got to list this. It's such a huge task. When it's not,
no,
just do the research. I quite enjoy looking things up. Find a listing, click sell similar on it.
Yeah,
mentally, I've done most of the work.
Exactly.
Yeah, I haven't really, but you see what I mean? And get a few drafts set up, and then that sets me going. That's a good one. I love
just get it on and see how you go.
Yeah, if then there's something physical in my drafts thing that's there, and it's like, well, I've done most of the work.
Yeah,
definitely. Well, I am this week. I'm going to try and set up. It's not exactly a listing challenge how you guys do it, but it's. I'm going to do a weekly thing. I was talking to James Boldfinds about this, and I've mentioned it to a couple of other resellers, and I'm going to call it a league, but it's not really a competitive league of listing. So if anybody in the chat wants to get involved with this, Nick's wondering what this is. all it is from Monday to Sunday, just send me how many items you've listed and how many items you've sold. And like I say, it's not a competition. It's really, I think it'll be interesting, even if it's me and James doing it, or there's only 3 or 4 of us, to sort of see that, say if I've listed 50 and I've sold 40, or there's someone else who's listed 100 and they've sold 80. I think it'd be quite interesting to see. So if anyone in the chat sort of wants to get do that on a weekly basis, let me know. I'm definitely going to try it and see what it looks like. I know there are people. I mentioned Lee earlier. He used to list maybe 15, 20 a day, and he had really good turnover. I'm not going to include turnover or sales amounts in this, or listing amounts. It's purely really about how you can get your sales going and how many items you're selling. And as we've mentioned before, if someone's doing like media or you know, things like that, it could be a huge amount at a really low value. So I'm going to give that a go for the next few weeks and see how it goes. It's a little bit like what you've done, but a bit more relaxed, just to sort of see a group of people and how much they do and how much they sell.
It's really interesting because for some people that would be like, oh God, I don't want to share my numbers. That's too much pressure, whatever.
Well,
And
Chris
for others,
was a bit like, I don't want to be at the bottom of that league. And I was like, it's not a competition. It's just
and
really...
for others, that might be the little nudge that you need to just keep
Yeah.
you on track. You see what I mean? And I think the point here, it's like with our listing challenges, that's not for everybody. But it works for us for that week. We're not going to do it people were saying the other night, can we do these like every other week? We're like, whoa, steady on.
Yeah.
But it's about finding what works for you. And some people, it's a carrot, some people it's a stick, being told to do more. Others, it's, the reward, or it's, guilting yourself in whatever works, find what works.
Well, I mean, I at the moment I'm trying to do 10 a day, so my listing numbers should be like 70 for the week, and that should be it. And it'll be my sales numbers might be 40, 50, 60. I've really got no idea. But there may be weeks where I have a few days where I do absolutely nothing, and that's just the way it will be. So if I end up coming back on the week after and doing a little video and saying I've only listed 20 items for the week, there's a reason for that. And like I say, if other people have listed 200, like I say, it is not a competition at all. It's just somewhere to go and get a feel for what other people are doing and what they are achieving out of it in terms of sales.
I think
let me know if in the chat if anyone's interested in that.
Laney makes a good point that we should come back to. Actually, the point is to improve what you do, and that is your competition.
Exactly
and
right.
Exactly that. And we are all on very different paths with this. We're very different needs, very different financial needs. Some are full-time, some like Rich are part-time. You're mixing it up with a job. So it's really difficult, and it's sometimes problematic to compare, right? So as long as you're only really comparing with yourself and trying to better what you're doing, better your systems or your output, that's what counts, right?
And I think there are definitely going to be times, probably not so much with yourself, Nick or Derek, but maybe for a new reseller coming into it, where if things aren't going how you planned, you will feel a little bit lost. But like we said, if you just take that one step or do a small something, get it done early in the day and go from there. Because the only way you can really change something is to get up and do it. And it's motivating yourself to do that. So if you have a kind of minimum, set amount you do, or if you have people you can talk to, and if anyone's sort of like stuck with reselling or got any questions, I'm always sort of happy to sort of talk to people, chat to people over Insta. I haven't always got the answers. I'm not the best reseller in the world, and I don't think anyone would say they are, but I can certainly sort of try and help.
Definitely reaching out, getting a little messenger group set up. We'll be in several, us lot, I'm sure, and they are so simple but so important, I think. Sometimes it's just to moan about customers, which we do on a regular basis, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's to celebrate your own achievements. When your mates down the pub wouldn't give a damn, you just sold a board game for £100. You've got people you can share that with instantly.
That's what my wife, if I ever say anything, she's like, "Oh yeah, okay."
You sold what now?
Interested, Yeah. Oh, is it bedtime? Oh yeah, sleepy time.
Yeah, I can't recommend enough people that are new to this game reaching out to like-minded people that are in the same game and have a little chat. So you've got that to fall back on.
It can be a lonely job.
And talk to your local resellers as well. I mean, because like I say, I talk to a lot of people who do YouTube because that's how I've met people and who are doing a similar thing. But some of the best people I talk to are the ones I see at my local boot fairs every weekend, because we all are exactly going to the same places and experiencing the same challenges. So it's don't look at people at your local boot fairs as like, oh, they're the competition. Can't talk to them. They're just exactly the same as you. Just we're all trying to make a buck. Definitely.
Where I've been going to Apps Court Farm, I've been bumping into Sean Abercrombie. That's the antiques one. I've been bumping into Chop Chop, Busy Work, Bang Bang Paul. Ian J, I've seen there, and Michael X Gov. And there's been a couple of other subscribers, but like Apps Court Farm, you know, I see quite a few of the guys that are always in the chats. It's really nice.
Yeah, it's nice, definitely nice, and you know, everyone has ups and downs with sales, and you can just have a laugh about it when you sort of like talk to people, because you probably, it's not that difficult really. It's just a case of doing it a lot of the time. But you're right about sometimes it's just great to just sort of unload if you have got problems, and talk to people in a similar situation. And yeah, if it's another reseller, they've probably got a very good idea of where you're coming from. I'd say if I talk to Liz about it, she would probably say, well, you know, she would have it'd be not a lot of understanding there. So it's very true.
Yeah, stop moaning. You chose to do this.
Go get an office job.
Yeah. Have you done any eBay today? That's the one I get. Have you, what? I thought you was listing.
I kind of listed.
Well, we was watching. It's weird because the thing that set me off is just absolutely bonkers. We were watching a film the other night, and it came up with the credits, and I said, I'm going to go and do a few bits in a minute after this film, and then it came up with the credits, and it said directed by Stephen Knight. Well, Stephen Knight was my brother. That completely wiped me out.
Yeah.
Once again, it wiped me out. It's just absolutely nuts. The things
it's funny. It's always the
it can derail you.
Least thing you expect, isn't it? Can sort of do that.
I was actually read up, and like the day before, I think I'd listed 8 things. The day before that, I'd been cleaning shoes, so I was getting back into the old rhythm and saying I was intending on listing at least 2 or 3 things, and it just, like, I was sat there watching the film, and just by watching the film, that came up and it completely wiped me out.
Wow.
And it's just because you don't expect it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, bloody hell, what's going on here? It's like, perhaps it's him trying to tell me, come on, get cracking.
It could be. It could be. He's giving you a kick up the bum, you know.
It's really weird because I was watching a film one day, and it got to it. The film should have just carried on, and all of a sudden,
you said it went to the racing, didn't it?
It came up with this horse racing page.
Yeah.
I've never watched horse racing in my life. My brother was horse racing mad, and it literally switched from the film, like I'd pressed a button on the controller, and the programs came up, and there was this blooming horse racing thing. And
Rich, mate, not many people get a supernatural kick up the bum, but you just had, you know, a couple there. So, you know, that's what you've got to do. You've got to get on and get listed on eBay. Otherwise, you're going to get another one.
I know, yeah. It's a bit worrying. I've got a picture of him up there looking at me now.
There you go.
Yeah.
Right, we have done the hour. So thanks ever so much, Richard, for coming on. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Derek. Oh, that's no problem at all. No problem at all. Next week, I think we'll be on Derek's.
Yeah,
is that right? And then are we going to come back to me? We'll sort all that out, the order of things. Whether we get back to the same order, who knows? But yeah, thanks ever so much. I've been a little bit disorganised, like I say, I've just got back. But it was great chatting about that. And like I say, if you are interested in doing this league or see how it goes, you don't have to do it every week. Might just do 1 week, dip your toe in and dip out if it's not your thing. But do let me know on Instagram or put a comment on this video. There are links to everyone's channels in the comments, so do sub to all these guys if you're not. I imagine you already are. Have you got any plans for the upcoming week, Derek? Any videos, any mega sourcing you're doing?
No, I've still got a few car boot videos I've got to edit. Loads of footage
in the archives.
They're getting quite old now. I think I've got one that's still in the dark.
You got one in black and white, haven't
like every areas of them. So.
It's like sepia.
I need to get them just out there and just release them.
What about you, Nick? What are you doing? Because now your stock's gone. You're just trying to sell all of Andrew's pottery.
I've got a video still in here from when we actually went sourcing at the weekend, and there should be some good footage of a how much for all of it moment. So hopefully that came out and I can put a video together.
Is that going to be the thumbnail? It's like, how much?
How much for all of that?
For the lot? What are you doing, Richard? Are you doing more driving, or you?
Well, actually, because it's my anniversary, 5th anniversary tomorrow. So, and they phoned me to go in and work tomorrow. So I said, no, I can't work tomorrow. I'll be murdered.
Can't do that.
I've got my anniversary tomorrow. I think Saturday I might try a new boot sale. I might try Huntston, which is a lot of people were recommending, which is near me. So I might go and sell at Huntston on Saturday. I'm possibly 50-50 at the moment, doing a car boot at Apscott Farm with my daughter on Sunday. I've got a video going up which I took with my son today at the R&J Mitchell Spitfire Museum in Southampton. And yeah, apart from that, I just need to get cracking on, get my brain back into gear and get back up to cracking it, so I don't have to go out driving in a van in 30 odd degrees.
Well, I'm sure you'll succeed.
Air conditioning.
Oh, that's not nice. Not this
No.
weather.
No.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming on. And like I say, we're back on Derek's channels next week. So we will see you then. Take care, everyone.
Cheers,
And we'll
Pete.
see you next week.